Hello, Amesy here of Amesy's Antics. Welcome to my channel. I hope you're well today because I have another sewing project to share with you. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make cropped wide leg trousers in like a palazzo, is that what it's called? Palazzo type trousers using another Tilly and Buttons pattern from the Make It Simple book with the Safiya Trousers. Now these are super stylish and perfect for spring summer because they're really nice and lightweight and they're just comfortable. So if you would like to see how to make cropped wide leg trousers using the Safiya pattern, then let's get to crafting. So here is my fabric of choice, and it is a black and white printed viscose from Minerva fabrics, and I will link it down below if it is still available for you. And it's got a lovely drapey flowy type to it, and then also some 5cm wide elastic for the waistband. So I have traced the pattern piece, and with the Safiya trousers only 2 pattern pieces, which is good. However, I am only 5'3", so these trousers were actually coming up a little bit too large and long on me. So what I've had to do is, where you can lengthen and shorten around the crotch seam, I've shortened that by about 3 centimeters. So on the line I've just folded the pattern piece up 3 centimeters, and I've repeated the same of that on the back. And also there's a line at the bottom of the pattern where you can lengthen and shorten the pattern piece for the length of the trousers. And obviously at 5'3", I've had to shorten this, so I've just folded this where the line is for shorten and lengthen line, because that seems to be the right length, even with a 1 to 2 centimeter hem here, like the double folded hem that you've got to do. It's going to be fine. So I've done that on both of the pieces, and then there's only one more pattern piece, which is the pockets, because I'm going to make pockets in this, because who doesn't love a pocket? So yes, really easy, simple pattern to trace and cut out and alter slightly. So let's get on to pinning this and cutting it all out. Here I am just pinning on the pattern pieces to the fabric, and I have just folded the fabric as directed in the book, and that is salvage edge or selvage edge. I never know how to pronounce it. I don't know if it's salvage or selvage, but the 2 neat edges together to create that fold, and then cutting it out with a rotary cutter to get a really nice neat cut, but you can also use fabric scissors as well. And that is all the pattern pieces cut out with the corresponding fabric. So there are the 2 leg pieces and some for the pocket. And then what I'm doing before actually sewing everything together is making sure that I am marking on the notches to the pattern, because this will help me line everything up, as well as doing a zigzag stitch all around the raw edges of the legs and the pocket pieces, I believe, just to keep everything neat and stop it from fraying. Then what I'm doing is placing on the pocket piece to one side of the trouser leg. I think this is the outside part of the trouser leg where the pocket piece sort of notches in, lining up them notches and then pinning them together. Then just stitching this to the outside leg of that trouser part, back stitching at the start and end of this simple straight stitch. And then once this is done, pressing this open with my fingers so that the seam is lying flat and the seam allowance is folding away from the trouser leg, and then doing an understitch to keep this in place, which is basically a seam very close to that seam already sewn, if that makes sense. So you should have a really neat seam next to it, and it will just hold all that layers in place. Now with this pattern we should have 2 pieces for each leg, so there'll be a front and a back piece, and we're going to connect these 2 together, so there will be 4 pieces for the legs in total. So just lining these up, and each part will have a pocket part to them. So I am lining them up and pinning it all into place, ready for stitching together. And it's important to make sure that all the notches are lined up when doing this, so that everything lies where it should be and is sewn correctly. Then just back stitching at the start and end of the straight stitch, just going down that inner edge from the top and then leaving a gap where the pocket is, and then going around that curved part back onto the trousers and following this down to the bottom of the trouser where the hem will eventually be. It is a little bit fiddly, but it's really quite quick to put together once you know how. And as with all sewing projects, it is important to press them seams to help them set in and have things sitting where you want them to be before moving on to the next part. So I'm just ironing and pressing in them pocket pieces and then folding these over to the inside part, and the top part of the pocket is going to be attached to the front of the trouser piece. So this will be a really little seam and hopefully will be encased in the waistband once we get to that part, so you won't see this, but as you can see here, I have just done a really narrow stitch to secure it in place, then turning one of the legs right side out and placing this inside one of the legs that is inside out, so that the two pretty parts are meeting, so the right sides together are meeting, pinning this in place because then I'm going to start sewing the crotch seam, and this is just one seam from one end to the other, making sure that the inner part of the crotch seams do line up neatly, and of course back stitching at the start and end of these stitches or these seams. And after the two leg pieces have been sewn together through that crotch, it's time to then do the waistband part. So what I'm doing here is using my iron to press the raw edges down around that waistband part down, and then refolding this again, and I think in total this does equal about 5 centimeters of a fold. I'm pressing this into place, and this is going to create a channel for the elastic to sit. However, part of the front bit is going to be a flat front, so the elastic won't be in this part, and it's going to start from the edges. So here you can see I am marking it out, and the elastic is going to start from the two end pieces where the pins are, and they will be attached to that bit, and then the front bit will just be sewn down nice and neatly. So here I am just creating that channel. And I completely forgot to mention at the start of this, I am making this in the pattern size 4, and what is really good, it does give you the amount of elastic that you are going to need. So I've cut this down to size and placed some safety pins in the end. I nearly call them paper clips, but they are safety pins in each end, and then I'm going to just thread this through that channel around the back of the trousers, because this is where the elastic is going to sit, and just threading that through, pulling on the safety pin to help guide that through, and then stitching this down to the waistband to secure it in place once it is in the correct place, making sure it's not twisted, and then following this on by just sewing down that front part of the waistband, making sure it is laying nice and flat, and it turns out wonderful and does actually keep them top pocket pieces in. Then finally finishing the trousers with a hem, and the DIY wide-legged crop trousers are complete.
I don't wanna stay here, no. Ain't gonna keep it low now. If you wanna go, let's go. Let's wrap it up and hit the road. I just got an awesome vibe, striking the winner post now. Liberty's on my mind. We've taken off, we've left the ground. You gotta understand that we get one chance, one chance.
They have how to make cropped wide leg trousers using the Make It Simple book from Tilly and the Buttons once again. Now I love how these have turned out, and I did alter them slightly because I've taken them up a little bit more, so they're a lot more cropped than they probably should be, but that's fine because I'm short, and it makes them perfect for the warmer months of summer when you need to be a bit cooler but still want to wear trousers. And I also added in some pockets which made the project a little bit longer and not necessarily more complicated to complete. It just added a few more extra steps, but these trousers can be made within an afternoon. So they are really good make for beginners, and Tilly explains it all really well. So let me know what you think in the comments below about these cropped wide leg trousers and whether you will be giving them a go, or if you have made something similar. I would love to know, so put it in them comments. And if you've enjoyed the video, then please do give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, to keep up with all my creative and crafty antics coming up onto the channel. And whilst you're there, hit that notification bell as well, because that will alert you each time my videos come up onto the channel. I also have a blog, Ames's Antics, which is linked down below for you to check out. Sometimes a little bit more information over on the blogs, so check them out as well. And with that said, I will see you in next week's video, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and week, and do something creative and crafty to keep you going through the week, and I will see you next time. Bye!